रंग मन में दिखाए, प्रकाशित हृदय में ईश्वर। Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We have been studying the 35 qualities of a bhakta, a devotee, as given by the Lord himself. He keeps saying, this my devotee is dear to me. This my devotee is dear to me. So what is devotion? What is bhakti? In essence, devotion or bhakti is nothing but love. There's nothing else to it. Then why are we using the word devotion? Because it is a love with something, some other element also in it. And this element is the element of the higher. When we love our equals or those below us, we call it love. But when we love something higher than us, we call it devotion. Like we are devoted to God. We're devoted to our country. We're devoted to our parents. But we love our children, we love our pets, we love our furniture, we love our spouse. Anything equal or below, it is love. Anything with the higher involved, it becomes devotion. But in essence, it is only love. That's all there is to it. When that love is directed to the higher, you call it devotion. When the same love is directed towards equals or lower, it becomes love. So when you add an element of the higher, you can even be devoted to your children. So when you say I'm devoted to my children, it brings about the concept that you are duty bound towards those children. There is something more in that love than merely the fact that they are your children. There is a sense of some dedication towards a higher thing. So you can be devoted to your spouse also, because then you are more concerned with your duties than your rights with that spouse. So there has to be an element of the higher when you use the word devoted. But in essence, it's the same thing. It is only love. And when we talk about God, we say we're devoted to God. But when we turn our attention to this world, then that same emotion of love is towards everybody. That is why he begins by saying, hates no being. Now you may say, why hates no being? So one hand you're saying you should love everybody. Then why doesn't he only say you should love everybody? Because, suppose I ask you, are you a loving person? And your answer will be, yes, I am. I love my friends, I love my neighbors, I love my family, I love my dog. I'm a loving person. But actually, love is not known by how many people we love. It is known by the people we don't love. So if I love 50 people, but I can't tolerate one person, then the amount of love I have in my system is that one person, not those 50. That's why it says hates no being. The amount we love the person who we love the least, that much love there is in our system. Hates no being. It's friendly. Friendly means there is a positive thing. It's not just I don't hate. Because if I'm indifferent also, I don't hate. No, there's a positive thing. There's friendliness. Then there's compassion. These are all sort of different views of the same, different ways of looking at the same thing. So what is compassion? Remember what is compassion?
The feeling that you have when you're unable to, you're not able to help everybody in every situation because of the limitations. So the best you can do is compassion.
But nothing to stop you from feeling. And do everything, right? There's so many uneducated children in this world. Can we take care of all of them? We can't. So what stops us from having compassion towards them? Now, next quality is not possessive. Why? Because the moment we start loving something, we become possessive of it. We don't realize that the love is gone and only possession is there now. So parents tell their children what to do. Spouses tell their partners what to do. Children tell their parents what to do. Everybody is telling everybody what to do. Why? Because of the sense of possession. You are my child, I will hold you. You are my parent, I will hold you. You are my spouse, I will hold you. So when we learn about not being possessive, we say, okay, I'm leaving everything. That's not what it's talking about. Not possessive is the capacity to have everything, but not be possessive of it. You can't say, here's a rich man. So Bill Gates is a very rich man. He has a lot of things. I assume, I don't know him, okay? I just assume he must be having a lot of things. So can we assume that he's a very possessive person? No, because we don't know whether he has a sense of possession. Now, how do we know whether we have a sense of possession? Simple. You give somebody a birthday gift. You gave Deepraj a shirt for his birthday. Okay? Then you found that that shirt is being worn by Elsie. So then you go to Deepraj and say, I gave you that shirt. Why did you go and give it to Elsie? So if Deepraj was able to respond to you, he would say, I am free to do with my things what I want. You gave me the shirt. Why are you holding on to it? And you notice how much we go and find out what people have done with our presents. You gave it, right? Now it's theirs. And they are free to do with it whatever they want. No, we will hold on. Little bit we want to hold on. What did you do? We find our sense of possessiveness. These are only ways. We're not fooling around with any of these things. All we're doing is we're being able to spot how possessive we are. Even after we give, we are still holding on. Even after we have, sometimes there's maybe there's a girl and some boys like her, a boy likes a girl. So he goes and proposes to her. And she doesn't like him. So she says, no, thank you. So then he goes. And then maybe he finds somebody else. Then she says, see, he's going out with that person. Arey, you said no to him. Then why are you worried who he's going out with? Always we are holding on. Whether we want it or we don't want it, we are going to hold on to it. Best example I would imagine in India has to be the fact that almost every house in India has something called a mala. You know mala, Madeline? It's like a little loft. It's like a little above things which are kept there. So things which are in use are just lying around somewhere. When they are in less use, they go to cupboards and they lie around in the cupboards. Then people buy more stuff. They don't know what to do with the stuff in the cupboard. So they take all that stuff out from the cupboard and put it up in the loft. Now these lofts are jam-packed with generations of stuff. Generation, not one, because it's a joint family and all, generation. Nobody even knows what is in those malas. But nobody says, let us throw that stuff away. We don't even need to look through it because we haven't used it for 50 years. We probably don't need it. Just throw it. No. I need it one day. And so what kind of things? Fused bulbs. Keys for which no locks have been found ever. All sorts of stuff lying. This is called possessiveness. Possessiveness means I cannot let go of this thing. It does not refer to what we possess. It refers to my attitude towards what I possess. Suppose a friend comes to your house to stay and they don't have anything to wear because you just said, why don't you spend the night? So the person agreed to spend the night. But now spend the night means they need clothes, right? So you just go to your room, you open your cupboard, you say, take whatever you want. Can we do that? No, you can't do that. Just take whatever you want. You can take this or you can take this. Use this nightie or use that nightie. Like that. We're very, very particular about what that guest will use. I'm not suggesting you open your cupboard and tell them to take whatever you want. Just the concept of it. We're only trying to identify how much possessiveness there is within me, because it's so easy for me to say, no, I'm not possessive. Yeah. These things are insidious in us. We don't really know how much we're doing these things. So this is just a way to draw our own attention to it, that, okay, all these things exist. So what's the problem? I'm possessive. What's your problem? My things, I'll be possessive. The thing is, whenever we don't do it correctly, it leads us to agitation, leads us to sorrow, leads us to misery. These are not good values that we should have, and we are good people, and so we should do all these good things. It is that when we get them wrong, we bear the repercussions of getting them wrong. It's not, some people say, oh, we must have good values. We must have all the society having good values, as if it's some kind of superimposition on us that we should have ethics and values and good. Nothing like that. It is just sensible ways of living. If we think about our life, when we think about how much actual control we have, what can we control? I was reading in the newspaper that the pollution levels have gone up so much that people are all getting skin ailments. Imagine a person living their life properly, but happens to live in Mumbai. And therefore, there is no air to breathe. So they get respiratory ailments or skin ailments or whatever. So they have done everything. They get up in the morning, they go for a walk, they study, they go for a walk, but they're breathing in all junk, How much control do we really have? And once you recognize you don't really have that much control, but you have some amount of control, you'll be able to pitch the expectations out of life realistically. It's not that we don't have any control. We do have some control. I don't know if you all know about our saga. We had a major saga. Madeline knows about it, of course. Sangeeta knows. We had a major saga on this France retreat. There was no appointment available for visa. So Sangeeta got us an appointment in Ahmedabad. So we went dashing off to Ahmedabad. And so basically, think about what happened. We have fixed a retreat. People have bought their tickets to go to that retreat. I mean, from different parts of the world. There's no appointment for the visa. You feel like out of control because now what? Right? So we cannot control whether the visa office in Mumbai has slots for the visa appointment or not. We can't control it. But we do have little control. We could see where else in the country a slot is available. And then luckily she found one and then we went there. So basically, and to end the story, you got the visa. Sangeeta, you got your visa?
No, ma'am, not yet.
Not yet. Oh. Our Karta Karvika has only not got the visa. So just see how it is. There was no slot. Out of control. She fixed something in Ahmedabad. Again, we got some control. Now, having gone and done everything they asked us to do, again, no control. So control and non-control, it comes and goes, sort of. If we are possessive people, we will not be able to handle it. Today, when the passports came back, okay, now this whole thing is resting on whether we got the visa or not. So passports came back. I just had to open and check whether the visa is there or not there, because it's a yes and no situation. Either they've stamped it or they haven't stamped it. Can you just wait and not open it immediately? Just to train your mind that it's okay, one way or the other. If this doesn't work, we'll find some other avenue of control. Just wait. All of this is a sort of recognition of our own possessiveness. If we become possessive, every time it goes out of our control, which it will do, we won't be able to handle it. That is why in karate, is anyone here from karate or martial arts? What is the technique of those martial arts, karate or judo or any of those martial arts of Japan, which are based on Zen and Buddhist concepts? Do you all know what is the basic principle?
Using the power of the opponent.
Using the power of the opponent. Are you a karate master?
No, I used to do Tai Chi Chuan.
Oh, okay, we better be careful then. We can't say anything to Madeline ever again. So you use the power of the opponent. See, basically, suppose somebody punches you, okay? And you go against that punch. You will get his full power. But if you are able to just go with what he is doing, he has lost his power. This is the element of lack of possessiveness. If we can go along with it, we're not trying to control something that cannot be controlled. You're using the power to steam your own engine. So it's not like, oh, possessiveness is such a bad thing and we should never be possessive. It's not like that, not children speaking. This is actually a technique of how to live. If we don't try to be possessive about things, assert our own ego about these things, then we will be able to spot where control is possible, where control is not possible. For instance, had we not got the visa, we may still have some control. In the sense we can maybe go appeal, maybe we can't, but we'll have to go and check that out. So at every stage, control, non-control will go on. If we are possessive, it will be a botheration to us. So then he goes to, from possessive, he goes to what is the root of the possessiveness, which is the ego. So free from egoism. Now, how do you do this free from egoism? First, you identify. You know, none of these qualities are meant for us to actually do something. It's for us to identify what are we doing incorrect. The sadhana will continue the same. You will still do karma, you'll still do bhakti, you'll still do jnana, you'll still get up in the morning and study, you'll still do your hatha yoga and your aerobics and your karma, whatever karma you're doing, and your bhakti, whatever methods of bhakti you're employing, whether you're going to the temple or church or mosque or praying at home or listening to devotional music, whatever methods you're using will continue. But these are like yardsticks for us to know, that we are on the right track, that we are not gone off somewhere, because it's very easy to go off this path. Here are some yardsticks. You're not doing anything directly with this, just recognizing the facts of your own life. What is egoism? How does it manifest? Remember, we did the 3 manifestations of ego last time.
I am the doer, I am supreme, I alone exist.
Very good. I am the doer. I have done this. The concept of having done. Oops, sorry, there was something here. Yes, Indians need Marikanjo, correct. We all do. So, free from egoism. I am the doer. I have done. I am important. You should include me. You should behave better with me because look who I am. How dare you do this with me? Because I'm an important person. All of these are signs of ego. I have done this. Even as we do karma, so many people do so much hard work for Vedanta. I mean, many of you do it. And we feel a sort of entitlement because I have done this karma, therefore you should do X, Y, and Z. That sense of entitlement is the ego. If we do our karma in the right way, then we'll be concerned of only one thing. What is that one thing?
What more I can do?
Okay.
To
What's
do
that?
That the work is
thing.
getting done.
Who said that?
Me.
Jyoti, okay. There you are. Why are people not putting on their videos nowadays? Some feeling of being in a class. So, this feeling of entitlement. My entitlement always means that you should do something. This is the interesting thing about life. We don't seem to think in terms of what I am supposed to do. We seem to think in terms of what you are supposed to do. you can't play a game like that, right? Suppose you're going to play tennis or badminton. Can you tell the opposite person, you can't do this, you can't do that, like how we used to do as children? My brother and I used to go and play badminton. And if he would smash, I would get very angry with him. I would say, you're not allowed to smash. But I cannot control how he plays. I have to control how I play. And that is what is the crux of life. I have to control how I play. I can't control how you play. If I have any self-control, then let me control the way I play. Let this world throw at me whatever it wants. I will control the way I play. You may not be cooperative with me, but I can be cooperative with you. So if instead of my telling you how you should operate, I have to think of how I should operate. So therefore, I will do that only when my only concern is
On the work.
yes, is the work getting done? That's my only concern, no other concern. Each one of us will, as we now, fortunately, we're a small group. It's an intimate group because we all we're a small group. Eventually, this whole thing is going to become very big. We will not even know people. Now we know Jyoti, we know Elsie, we know Deepraj, we know Madeline. I mean, know means we haven't actually met them, but we feel like we know them because we see them, we converse with them. So we feel like we know them. We're like one big family. Imagine when this thing grows and becomes so big that you wouldn't even know who is there and who is not there. Just think of that time. And if at that time we are all in that mental mode of this is how we should behave, then we will rip this whole thing apart. So this is how you should behave is the consequence of
Possessiveness.
Doership.
Doership. I'm so important. How can you do this with me? You behave whatever way you want. You play your shot, I play my shot. And together we make this match a fun game. When that is our attitude, you find that it's simple. If that is not our attitude, then what happens is grumbling and mumbling and mourning, and instead of getting the work done, we are busy, doing little bickering between us. How can you behave like this? This was not good. I am the doer. That concept brings forth this. So, please don't think, normally people say, oh, doership is such a bad thing. Don't think of it like it is such a bad thing. We should not be egoistical. That kind of thinking is not productive. What is productive is to say, okay, I see my sense of doership here. Full stop. That's it. But I have to identify. That's all I'm doing. And second one is I alone exist. I alone exist means what? I'm not noticed you exist. Not noticed. It's like a bull in a china shop. I don't know what's going on. I am supreme. I am supreme means I notice you're existing, but I'm still more important than you are. I'm not only more important, I am supreme. My views are the best. My ideals are the best. My opinions are the best. If you think anything different from me, then you're an idiot. Free from egoism. Balanced in pleasure or pain. Balanced. Yeah, Bharat.
So Jankiji, on doership, so when you see that actually the work is getting suffered, it actually does bother you. So and what does that show? I mean, it's still the doership getting, more prominence, or
Yes, of course. Why that? See how your question is there in the next quality, balanced in pleasure or pain. The result has come. We have to only wonder whether we could have played this any better. Sometimes the answer is yes, in which case you learn something. Sometimes the answer is no, in which case, well, so be it. I did all I could. It's not necessary that if I do all I could, I'm going to win this game. But I have done all I could, and that's what I can guarantee myself. And if I haven't, then I improve my act. But the onus is always on me. If I say the onus is on me, then we take it like, oh, I must get it done. Not an I must get it done. That is egoistic. The onus is on me is, it is me who will have to work on getting it done. So here is a person, you rely on that person to maybe do some work. And that person isn't doing it. Then you have to figure out what are the ways I can get this job done? Maybe I take it away from this person and give it to somebody else. Maybe I motivate this person some more. I have to find out what makes this person tick. Instead of saying he or she is this way, and that's a very bad way to be, I have to say it's my responsibility to find out how to get work done from this person. So you can't say the work suffers because of somebody else. The work suffers because I was not able to get it done. So how can I do this better? And always remember, life is full of options, baby. So many options. Why? We experience failure. We experience failure strongly because we feel this is the only way. Like when a boy loves some girl in college and she rejects him. Then he goes home and he cries and cries and cries and drinks and whatever he does. Now, why is he feeling that? Because his belief is that if this particular person is not there in my life is useless. But life is full of options, baby. There is so much. There are so many options. There's an infinitude around here. What reason is there to be miserable? If one way doesn't work, there will be a billion other ways. Like, when we didn't get a visa for France, we could have just cancelled it, right? But no, she's worked. She said, okay, now I'm not getting in Mumbai. I mean, I wouldn't have thought of this. If I don't get an appointment in Mumbai, I have to go to Ahmedabad. So she told us, you can go to Mumbai, you can go to Ahmedabad, you can go to Pune, you can go to Delhi. Okay. So Ahmedabad seemed the best, so we chose that one. Life is full of options. There are a million ways. What is that saying? There's more than one way to skin a cat. I don't like that because you have to skin a cat, but the fact remains that so many ways of achieving the same end. So can't say the word work suffers because of someone else. Okay, Bharat?
Yes, thank you.
Balanced in pleasure and pain. Balanced in pleasure and pain because, oh idiot mind, when you are not balanced in your pleasure and pain, you are simply worsening the situation. Things will not always go the way we want it to go. We have to wait. And we have to play our cards better. Or to put it in a technically Vedantic manner, use your intellect. If your mind is so agitated with either joy or sorrow, intellect will go out. So balanced means your intellect is still on top of the game. Things will happen. You may want to join a course. Your father will say, no way, you can't join this course. Then how are you going to tackle this? You have to think, how am I going to tackle it? What can I do? What are my options? How many choices do I have? That is called using your head. If you don't do that, somebody will always be running your life, which is also fine. But who is this person running your life? Is it somebody who has understood clearly what is to your advantage? People who love us best may have no understanding of what is to our advantage. So, just as our mind takes over, other people's minds also take over. It is up to us to figure out, am I following an intellect, either mine or somebody else's? Or am I following the mind, either mine or somebody else's? Balanced in pleasure or pain. Things will happen. The world will send its shot. If you have an intellect, you send back yours. So, allowing the intellect to not be influenced by the various emotions that can go through the mind. That doesn't mean we deny the emotions. If you feel pain and you don't feel it, there's something wrong. If there is pleasure and you don't feel it, there is something wrong. It's the difference between being in the water and drowning in the water. If you are in the water, you can swim. But if you can't swim, then you drown. Similarly, we are with our minds and other people's minds. We are there. But you have to swim there, not drown there. The mind tends to go below the surface of water. You're going to die over there. The intellect can keep you swimming. Forgiving. You all know what is forgiving, right? What is forgiving?
To understand that other people act according to their nature. Vasanas.
To correct the wrong thing. Can you correct your sentence?
To understand that me and other people act according to their vasanas.
Okay. Understand that everyone acts according to their vasanas. Everyone. We are all helpless victims of those vasanas. When I say helpless victim, please understand control and non-control exist simultaneously. You have a certain amount of control over yourself, much less control on others. But the fact remains is that everybody does and should function according to their vasanas. If you force them to be something apart from their vasanas, you are mutilating the personality. People have to go along the line of their swadharma. There is no option here. If you try to do anything else, you will spoil them, their lives and everything. Therefore, when you're making choices in life, it's very important when you're making it for yourself or for anybody else, to take that choice internally, not externally. But internally means in association with your own nature, not because of anything else. Somebody says so, or the scope of there, or no external parameter should decide on the big choices of life. There has to be an internal parameter for everybody. So whether you're doing it yourself or you're telling somebody else, it has to be in alignment with your own nature. So when this concept is very deeply ingrained in us, that has to be according to nature. Who are you going to forgive what? Okay. My child left me and went. That is what children do. That's the right thing. Can you imagine if a child never leaves his parent? That child will be, I don't know what. That is the right thing. In Marathi, there is a saying that when the, what is it? Who knows that saying? That when the footwear of the child and the parent become the same, that parent-child relationship is over. Every animal understands this, no? Every bird understands it. The bird brains understand it. But human beings don't. My child, my child, my child. My child means what? If you've done your job, let him fly. Let her fly. So when you understand how everybody is in accordance to their nature, what are you going to forgive them? If a person is a selfish, self-centered person, what meaning is there to say, I forgive you? What are you forgiving the person for? For being themselves? What's the meaning of that sentence? Now, will you say to the rose, I forgive you, O rose, for having thorns? I forgive you, monsoon, for raining. What is the meaning of these statements? People are what they are. Objects, beings. Can I say, oh, bacteria, whatever you are in my throat, I forgive you for giving me such a tough time? Can I say that? And if I say it, what is the meaning of all this? Bacteria in throat, take antibiotics. Simple, simple. The world gives you a shot, you take a shot back. What a simple thing it is. So forgiveness is simply the quality of recognizing that vasanas function. If a person is of a certain nature, that is what he's going to do. So does that mean we let people rob from us, steal from us, and do all sorts of negative things? No. Play the game. Bacteria gets in, you take an antibiotic. Robber gets in, call 911. Not in India, of course, but you call 100 if you're in India. So everything is very, like, it's like a shot has come into your court, you just play it back. That's nothing to forgive, nothing to forget. In fact, please remember, don't forget, so that you won't make the same mistakes again. Ever content. Ever content is a sign of self-sufficiency, that I do not require something happening, someone being there. I just don't require anything from the outside world to be happy. How is this possible? Remember that as I go closer and closer to the self, as I evolve, the light of the self is with me all the time. And therefore, why do I need anything from outside? The brightest torch is of use to me only in the darkness. If there is midday sun in India, what am I going to do with that torch? So when the bright sun has risen within me, the self I'm going closer to the self, I'm removing the covering. The brightness is with me. Why on earth would I need anything from outside to be happy? Therefore, the person is ever content. So you know now how much the growth has taken place to know what takes away contentment. How much? What does it take to make me unhappy? Will tell me how mature I am. So, uniting with self. Constantly keeping to the goal. Don't forget the goal in and through everything that's happening. You hang on to the goal will hang on to you. You forget the goal, and then we're lost. Just lost. Imagine going in the high seas without a direction. What do you expect will happen if we're roaming the seven seas and reach nowhere? Hang on to that goal. That is a Latin saying, that if you are with the truth is with you. Hang on to it. Self-controlled. Self-control means that anything that comes on the path to the goal, we say no. Sorry, I'm not interested. It's not that I'm not per se interested in that thing, but if you're going to interrupt my path to the goal, I won't do it. For instance, your friend tells you, come with me to see a movie. So you say, okay, is this interrupting my path to the goal? No. So I can go to see it. But your friend says, come with me for a midnight show. You say, no. That means I'm not going to be able to get up in the morning. So you're interrupting my path. No, I'm not. So it's not about things per se or by themselves, but are they interrupting your path? Should I have a drink? Okay, when we go to France, they'll give us, I'm sure, some wine. Should we have wine? No, wine, it's a very bad thing. You shouldn't have it. What are you saying? Wine is such a good thing. It's full of resveratrol or whatever that thing is, and it will make so healthy to have that thing. And you'll stay young and healthy by having wine. Now, all this debate and discussion can go on. You have only one question. What's your question?
Does it help me reach my goal?
It's okay. Other way around also. Does it prevent me from reaching my goal? In which case, I will not do it. Healthy, unhealthy, indulgent, not indulgent. I don't care. Is it preventing me? Is it helping me? That's all I'm concerned with. So as long as something is not preventing you, go right ahead, do it, no problem. But if something interrupts your path, you're not going to do this thing. That is called self-control or firm conviction. I hope you're able to see how these are like, imagine there is a person on stage and there are many lights on that person, right? From here, you can look at him from here and from there. And because all lights are coming from different areas, you get a good sense of that person because that person is far away on a distant stage. So all these various qualities are sort of looking at that developed person from different aspects. The fact is, if you have any one of them, you'll have them all. But it just gives a different sort of view from different sides as to, how is this mature person living their life? A firm conviction. A firm conviction. It's an interesting thing that this has come into a bhakta's quality. Because conviction is of the intellect, right? So why is it shown as a bhakta's quality? Because the essence of any path anybody travels is his or her conviction in that thing. Do you believe in it? If your belief is only like little dogma dole like that, anybody coming along and saying anything will move you from your path. Firm conviction, whatever it takes, I am doing this. whatever it takes. That's the story of Prahlad. His father threw him into the wild beasts, threw him into the fire. He did all sorts of things to him. He said, no. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. He just one thing. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I am not moving from here. All the Rakshasas of the world can say whatever in the world they want. I'm not moving. A bhakta is like that. I mean, anyone who's convinced of the spiritual path is like that. Only one thing is important. That idea has to be well established in my head. Vedanta is not a hobby. It's not something I'm interested in. You know, all these people who we've been interviewing for jobs, they all say they're very interested and they can connect with this knowledge. It's a very nice thing as a first step. But as a student of Vedanta, if you claim interest in this knowledge, you're not interested. This knowledge means something to you. If you have understood, it is the most important thing of life. If you find anything more important than it, then you haven't understood it. Simply haven't understood it. It's all just lip service. It's like hobby, you know, somebody likes dance, somebody likes music, you like Vedanta. Doesn't count. There was a Zen master who had a huge university, and he had like thousands of students in his university. And so the king of the land one day came to see his university. He was very impressed. You know, it's a massive university he is running. So he went to the Zen master and said, wow, this is superb. How many students do you have over here? So the Zen master said, one or two. Amongst thousands, one or two. Student of the subject. You will be amazed to know that, I don't know now. Bharat can probably tell us. Bharat, in our class group, we have WhatsApp group. How many people are there in our WhatsApp group currently? You have any idea? Or
Yeah, close to 1,000.
Close to 1,000. 1,000 people are there in our WhatsApp group. WhatsApp group means we haven't put anyone there, right? We have told people, if you all are interested, please join the group. That's how you guys all joined, assumably. We are not putting people, adding people, random people, we don't. If you are interested in attending class, join the group. Isn't that what you all got? Did anyone put you like jabardasti into this group? I hope nobody says yes, because that will be shocking. Nobody put anyone jabardasti. Nobody forced anyone. If you want to join the classes, join the group. So around 1,000 people have joined. 31 people are attending today. You see how it is? Amongst the 31 attending today, how many think that this is the most important thing of life? That Zen master was lucky, he could say one or two.
Janki ji.
Yeah, Mohan.
The ratio is less than CA getting pass out.
This ratio is less than?
CA getting pass out.
Yeah. So yeah, this must be more difficult than CA. Madeline, you know about this CA business in India? There is a course for chartered accountancy. You know, there are like thousands of people in the country try to become. And rare is a person who actually becomes a CA. I think they allow only like 40 people to pass. They allow everybody to take the exam and they allow just a few people to pass. So, you know, you hear someone says, I'm studying for CA, then you know he's generally just fooling around, enjoying life, because he's not going to pass for a very long time. So it's become almost a joke. I'm doing my CA means I'm chilling. Nothing is happening over here. Like that in Vedanta also is like that. I'm doing Vedanta means I'm generally chilling. I'm not doing anything in life. Because if you really want CA, the kind of work you have to do is, is amazing. One of my cousins, she came first or something in CA. And then she went on to become one of the top finance ladies of this country. That's the kind of work. Now imagine if somebody took up Vedanta like that. Unfortunately, she took up CA and not Vedanta, but had a person like that taken up Vedanta, then we could have said, yeah, there is one student. So there is so few people who can understand the worth and value of it. For some people, it's just, oh, I feel nice. It's an emotional solace. Some people, it's an intellectual curiosity. Oh, I understand a lot of stuff when I go to class. But the bhakta has got
Firm conviction.
firm conviction.
Conviction.
This is the most important thing, and everything I do, I am going to assess it with reference to that goal. I have no other yardstick of assessing it.
Shankiji,
Yeah.
so in the beginning, Bhakta is short on knowledge bank, right? So does he have conviction then in the textbook maybe, or in the words of his teacher?
In God. See, you must appreciate that when he's giving the qualities of bhakta, he's giving the qualities of an evolved soul. In the initial stages, all these things are very little, like for instance, firm conviction for us in the class today. So there are some people who have got conviction enough to make sure that they're there for every single class. So that is their level of conviction. There are some people who make sure that they do attend the class even if they cannot attend it online. So that is live. So that's their level of conviction. There are some people who say, at least thrice a month I should attend. That's their level of conviction. Some people just like to be in the WhatsApp group, as you know. That's their level of conviction. Some people on a daily basis decide everything they're deciding based on whether it is going to help them evolve. That's a different level of connection. Is this helping me go closer to that final truth? So, what is evolution? It's just more of the good stuff and less of the bad stuff. So, it's all just a ratio, I guess. So, what does he believe in? He believes in whatever he believes. Could be anything. Most likely it's God, because he's categorized here as a bhakta. He may not have a teacher in the earlier stages. He may not have any books. He may not have any teacher, but he feels that once a week I must go to Hanuman temple. That's his conviction.
Okay, so it takes different forms in different stages of the journey. Thank you.
A firm conviction means he's now like fairly steady on the path. Not once in a while and once a day or once a year. I know some people who say on Guru Purnima day, I go and meet my Guru. That's all they do. Guru Purnima day, they go meet him. That is their level of conviction. But when he's talking of firm conviction here, he means that person has figured out finally that this is the most important thing. Everything else is secondary. In your head, you have that value. Now, life being what it is, you deal with it. I mean, so many things, right? But you know in your heart what is the most important thing and how you're making your way there. Mind and intellect dedicated to self. Most people believe that bhakta has no intellect. I hope you notice that the last few qualities are all pertaining to the intellect. And in case you haven't noticed, he says it himself, mind and intellect dedicated to self. Just getting lost in, oh my, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. It's not bhakti. Is the intellect there? Does the intellect understand what you're doing? Is there some kind of method in the madness? All of that is important. Okay, so that's it for today.